Gentleman, friend of the program, host of the Lombardi Line, host of the GM Shuffle, founder of the Daily Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
How we doing?
Hey.
How is everybody today?
Hey, it's not great in Pittsburgh because what Ben Roethlisberger said on his podcast. I don't know if you got to hear the entire clip. We just ran it, so we won't run it again. But basically, he said the Pittsburgh Steelers thing is probably no more because the hand-down of it seems to have missed a leg to the offensive side to this particular group. And I just asked Chuck, like, what's he doing if he's Tomlin? He's like, I'm not addressing it. I'm keeping that. I'm not bringing that up to my guys. But I am potentially inviting Ben Roethlisberger down for a conversation to see how the day-to-day is. Chuck sounded like he was at a point where he's like, Ben, we don't need more, through Tomlin's eyes, pretty much. What are your thoughts as a former GM whenever somebody who's as important to Pittsburgh as Ben Roethlisberger is, as synonymous to the Pittsburgh Steelers as Ben Roethlisberger is, to say something like that about your program? How are they handling that in the building, you think, Lombo?
I think what Chuck said is right. I mean, if he had a valid point, you would say, hey, Ben, I appreciate it, and if you feel that way, certainly call us on the phone because we would welcome your advice. But the one thing I don't think Pittsburgh lacks is toughness. Like, I don't see that as the issue. They win because of their toughness. They win because of their determination and persistence. They're not winning or moving the football because they don't have a quarterback. I mean, look, the hardest thing to do in sports is to figure out why you win and why you lose. And when you get into that arena, everybody has an opinion. Everybody will say, well, the Chargers just need somebody to run their offense and Herbert will be good. That's not true. The Patriots just need this. They need a quarterback. This should happen or that. It's never about one thing. And when you do watch these teams closely, as we all do, toughness doesn't resonate when you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have that. They just don't have enough scheme, enough creativity, and the quarterback to execute all those things.
I think we're going to call you back. The connection's a little bit slow on our end. We got your whole answer there, though. It was not wasted. The toughness isn't just like physical toughness. I think you're talking mental toughness and like accountability and all that stuff kind of rounds in to what the Pittsburgh Steeler way has been. And I think the reason why fans can kind of point it out is because it's pretty obvious whenever you see things that are happening on the offensive side. It's like this is not the same Steelers team that we've watched for a long time. But how long has it been since you've seen like the Steelers team that has resembled the Steelers team in your mind
17,
and what a Steelers team
17 with the Killer Bees.
So that's 6 years ago? Half a decade.
That team was filthy.
So much fun. And Boswell that was when Boswell got to the team, right? He was the fourth B.
Yeah.
Because it was Bryant, Bell, Brian, and then Ben, and Boswell. And it was an offensive juggernaut that was tough to stop.
Yeah.
Tough to. You remember Martavis Bryant, the alien?
That dude.
He went for like 400 against us.
Yeah, I do.
400, I think. I still see him running. But it was impossible because you had Antonio Brown on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really.
But if you have a quarterback, a real dude, even Andrew as a rookie, he's still, because of who he was and his work ethic, those young receivers, all those young guys that came in with him, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, those guys ain't acting like they're acting if they got a real dude under center, because that guy's controlling all that. The position coach and that quarterback. And he's not letting them get away with that bullshit.
Joining us now, again, hopefully with a better connection on our end, not on his end, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
I agree. Chuck's right. I mean, look, the quarterback, this is a big issue around the league right now. The quarterback's personality has to manifest itself through the team. Why do you think there's such a disconnect in New Orleans? His personality can't really come out and lead the team and be the leader of the team. It's what happened in New England. You got to have that. You got to have a guy who can walk in the room and say, fellas, this ain't good enough. I love this. Everybody talks the Raider way. Well, the Raiders haven't won in 40 years. I mean, they got a 44% winning percentage since we went to the Super Bowl in 2002. Since they went to the Super Bowl in 83, they've got since 2002, it's 37%. Since 83, it's 44%. But when we had Rich Gannon for 3 years, we had a dog. We had a guy that set the culture. He created the way. He made everybody line up. He made sure that everybody fell in line. And it had nothing to do with the emblem or the shield. It had everything to do with that guy. And if you don't have that guy under center, it's hard, man. It's really hard to win. You got to have a guy who's going to make everybody else better on and off the field.